Good evening and welcome to the regular meeting of the Frankfort Village Board. Tonight is Monday, March 17th, 2025. I call this meeting to order and I ask our clerk, Katie Schubert, to take the roll, please.
Mayor Ogle.
Here. Trustee Ludden.
Here. Trustee Savaria.
Here.
Trustee Rigoni.
Here.
Trustee Petro.
Here.
Trustee Borelli.
Here.
Trustee Rossi.
Here.
Trustee Ledden.
Here.
Attorney Lamore. Chief Chalepis. Village Administrator Pisha.
Here.
Clerk Schubert is here, and we have quorum, Mayor.
All right, thank you. At this time, if everyone would please stand with me, we'll say the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States Next item on here is what's called the unanimous consent agenda. All items on the consent agenda are considered to be routine in nature and will be enacted in one single motion. There is no separate discussion of the items unless a board member so requests, in which event that item will be removed from the consent agenda and will be considered separately. At this time, I ask if anyone on the board would like to remove any items from the consent agenda. Hearing none, can I get a motion and a second, please? Second. We have a motion and a second. Trustee Pagani?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. Mayor, I would ask that the record reflect that I have an abstained vote for the consent agenda relating to item C2, the engineering services agreement, and that is the only item that I will be abstaining from.
All right, thank you. So the next item on here was the approval of the minutes from the March 3rd, 2025 meeting. And then we'll go to Trustee Ledden for the bills.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So tonight's bills total $3,191,221.48. The breakdown by fund is as follows. The general corporate fund totaled $164,606. The capital development fund totaled $337,582.80. The sewer water operation and maintenance fund totaled $115,506.12. And finally, the sewer and water extension fund totaled $2,573,526.56. Those are the total bills for this evening.
All right, thank you. Next item on here is an item from the Committee of the Whole, and we'll go to Trustee Borelli.
Thank you, Mayor. Item C1 is the Memorandum of Understanding, the School Resource Officer Program. At the March 12th meeting, the Committee of the Whole reviewed a Memorandum of Understanding with Frankfort School District 157C for the renewal of the School Resource Officer Program. The Village of Frankfort and District 157C first established the program with a 2-year agreement back in 2018, which was renewed for 4 years in 2021. Both parties recognize the program's significant benefits and wish to extend the agreement for another 4-year term. The agreement includes provisions allowing either party to terminate it with or without cause by providing 90 days written notice. It was the consensus of the committee to forward a recommendation to the village board to extend the Memorandum of Understanding with School District 157C for the School Resource Officer Program for another 4-year term. The motion before us tonight is to accept the recommendation of the Committee of the Whole and adopt a resolution authorizing the execution of a Memorandum of Understanding between the Board of Education of Frankfort School District 157C and the Village of Frankfort on behalf of the Frankfort Police Department for the School Resource Officer Program.
All right, thank you, Trustee Borelli. Next item on here, we'll go to Trustee Savaria.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Next item is a 2025 roadway maintenance program professional engineering service agreement. At its March 12, 2025 meeting, the Committee of the Whole reviewed a request from the staff to accept Robinson's Engineering Ltd. proposal for professional engineering services associated with the village's 2025 roadway maintenance program. The proposed fiscal year 2025-2026 budget allocates $6 million from the General Capital Fund for the program. Robinson Engineering will prepare construction plans and bidding documents for the planned improvements. Engineering fees include a lump sum equal to 4% of the program cost for the design phase and an additional 4% of the final construction cost for construction engineering services. It was consensus of the committee to forward a recommendation to the village board authorizing the execution of an agreement with Robinson Engineering to provide professional engineering services for the 2025 roadway maintenance program. The motion before us is to accept the recommendation of the Committee of the Whole and adopt a resolution authorizing the execution of a professional engineering service agreement between the Village of Frankfort and Robinson Engineering Ltd. for the 2025 roadway maintenance program.
All right, great, thank you, Trustee. Next one, we will go to Trustee Rossi.
Thank you, Mayor Ogle. Shetland Drive Culvert Replacement and Restoration Project. At its March 12, 2025 meeting, the Committee of the Whole reviewed 8 bid proposals for the replacing the deteriorating 13-inch culvert under Shetland Drive at Sauk Trail, where corrosion has caused a sinkhole in the parkway. The funding for the project is included in the 24-25 operating budget. It was a consensus of the committee to accept the low bid and award the contract to Allied Water Services in the amount of $43,057.60. The motion before us, accept the recommendation of the Committee of the Whole and adopt a resolution authorizing the execution of a contract between the Village of Frankfort and Allied Water Services for the Shetland Drive Culvert Replacement and Restoration Project in the amount of $43,057.60.
All right, thank you, trustee Rossi. Next item, we will go to trustee Petro.
Thank you. Lawn mowing and landscape maintenance of Route 30 and Pfeiffer Road, medians and parkways bid award. The village solicited bids from qualified landscape contractors for lawn mowing, weeding, and landscape bed maintenance of the Route 30 and Pfeiffer Road medians and parkways for the 2025 mowing season, with an option to extend the contract for up to 2 additional periods. At its March 12, 2025 meeting, the Committee of the Whole reviewed 7 bid proposals for the project. It was the consensus of the committee to forward a recommendation to the village board and accept the low bid and award the contract to Rapid Tree Service and Landscape in the amount of $55,000 for the 2025 mowing season. The motion before us is to accept the recommendation of the Committee of the Whole and adopt a resolution authorizing the execution of a contract between the Village of Frankfort and Rapid Tree Service and Landscape to provide lawn mowing and landscape maintenance of the Route 30 and Pfeiffer Road medians and parkways for the 2025 mowing season for the cost of $55,000 based on 26 mowings with an option to extend the contract for not more than 2 additional periods.
Thank you. Next item, we will go to trustee Rigoni.
Thank you, Mayor. This item is the Illinois Cash Farm Lease Agreement Bid Award. At its March 12, 2025 meeting, the Committee of the Whole reviewed 2 bid proposals for a 3-year Illinois Cash Farm Lease Agreement for farm 65 tillable acres of village-owned property at 10053 Cousy Road. The highest bid submitted by Steve Quigley and Steve Spees was $201.02 per acre, resulting in the total annual lease amount of $13,066.30. It was the consensus of the committee to forward a recommendation to the village board to approve the 3-year farm lease agreement with Steve Quigley and Steve Spees. The motion before us is to accept the recommendation of the Committee of the Whole and adopt a resolution authorizing the execution of a 3-year Illinois cash farm lease agreement between the Village of Frankfort and Steve Quigley and Steve Spees for an annual cash rent of $13,066.30 for village-owned property at 10053 West Cousy Road for crop production years 2025 through 2027.
Thank you, trustee Rigoni. Then we have some items from the Plan Commission. And first one, we will go to trustee Ledden again.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So the first item is a major change to Main Park planned unit development. The Frankfort Park District seeks a major change to the existing Main Park planned unit development, PUD, to amend the approved final development plan to allow the construction of 2 batting cages at the property commonly known as 200 Locust Street. At the February 27, 2025 public hearing on the project, the Plan Commission forwarded a unanimous 5-0 recommendation to the Village Board to approve the major PUD change. The motion before us this evening is to accept the Plan Commission recommendation, waive the first and second readings, and pass an ordinance approving a major change to the Main Park Plan Unit development located at 200 Locust Street to permit the construction of batting cages, including 2 modifications within the PUD to permit an increase in the maximum allowable area from 144 square feet to 2,006 square feet, and to increase the maximum allowable height from 15 feet to 16 feet, in accordance with the submitted plans, public testimony, and findings of fact. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Next Plan Commission item, we will go to trustee Borelli again.
Mayor, I'm excited to present item D2. It's the Lee Residence Impervious Coverage Variance, 323 Oregon Street. Homeowners Corey and Terry Lee request the granting of an impervious coverage variance from 40% to 52.4% to build a new 214 square foot front porch located at 323 Oregon Street in the R2 Single Family Residential District. At the February 27, 2025 public hearing on the project, the Plan Commission forwarded a unanimous recommendation to the Village Board to approve the variance request. And the motion before us tonight is to accept the Plan Commission recommendation, waive the first and second readings, and pass an ordinance granting an impervious coverage variance from 40% to 52.4% for the property located at 323 Oregon Street to permit construction of a 214.25 square foot front porch in accordance with the reviewed plans, public testimony, and findings of fact. And thank you, Corey and Terry. I think it's going to be a great project. Looking forward to it.
Thank you. And the final item on here, will go to trustee Savaria.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The last item is the adoption of the Village of Frankfort's 2025 official zoning map. The Illinois Municipal Code 65 ILCS 511-13-19 requires the corporate authorities to publish the municipality's zoning map on an annual basis no later than March 31st, clearly showing the existing zoning uses, divisions, restrictions, regulations, and classifications of such municipalities for the preceding calendar year. The Community and Economic Development Department has updated the Village of Frankfort zoning map to reflect all map amendments and annexation changes as of January 1st, 2025. The only change to the zoning map in the past calendar year was the rezoning from the E2 Estate Residential District to the R2 Single Family Residential District at the time of annexation of the Abbey Woods North Subdivision property on St. Francis Road. At the March 13th, 2025 Plan Commission, the Commissioners forwarded a unanimous 5-0 recommendation to the Village Board to approve the official zoning map. The motion before us is to accept the Plan Commission recommendation and adopt the Village of Frankfort 2025 official zoning map, Will and Cook Counties, Illinois.
Thank you, trustee Savaria. Those are all the items for the consent agenda tonight, and we do have a motion and a second, so we'll go to our clerk, Katie Schubert, for the vote.
Trustee Ledden? Yes. Trustee Savaria?
Yeah.
Trustee Ragoni?
Yes.
Trustee Petro?
Yes.
Trustee Borelli?
Yes.
Trustee Rossi?
Yes.
Motion carries.
All right, thank you. The next item is called the Mayor's Report. The Frankfort Arts Association presents their Resonance Vibrant Visions for Artistic Futures at Frankfort Village Hall from March 13th through the 27th. It features violins once unplayable transformed into art by local artists. The event supports a scholarship for a Frankfort student pursuing a degree in the arts. For more details, visit thefrankfortartsassociation.org. The Spring on the Green event will take place on Sunday, March 23rd from noon to 2 in Brighter Green. It's co-sponsored by the Village of Frankfort and the Frankfort Park District. The event features DJ music, fun games for kids, a balloon artist, and more. Complimentary hot cocoa and cookies will be provided. For more information, visit either the Village or the Park District's website. The Frankfort Chamber of Commerce will host the State of the Village address on Wednesday, April 23rd. The luncheon will begin at 11:30 at the Prestwick Country Club. The event is open to the public. Tickets are available at frankfortchamber.com. The Village of Frankfort will mark Saturday, April 26th as its annual Earth Day, Arbor Day celebration. Visit the Village website for details or contact Sue Lynchy at 469-2177. And the Country Market is rescheduled for opening on Sunday, April 27th. The hours for the market are 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. And congratulations to the Chelsea Intermediate School DARE graduates. The fifth graders were honored last week for successfully completing the DARE program, led by School Resource Officer Minio. A special thank you to School District 157C for its partnership in this important educational program. As always, the Village remains committed to the safety and well-being of our residents, and programs like DARE reflect that dedication. And it is with great pride and excitement that I congratulate the Hickory Creek Middle School 7th grade volleyball team, girls volleyball, for securing the Class 4A state title on Saturday, March 15th. This remarkable achievement marks the Tigers' second state championship in school history, following their first title in 2024. The team capped off a perfect undefeated season with an outstanding 21-0 record. This incredible achievement is a testimony to the team's hard work, dedication, and teamwork, as well as the outstanding support from their coaches, families, and school community. That's all for the mayor's report, and we will go to our clerk, Katie Schubert, for board comments.
Thank you. Early voting started today, so if anyone is planning to travel over break or will be out of town for the April 1st election, make sure to come to Village Hall or to the library or any of the other locations that can be found at willcountyclerk.gov, and the sample ballot can also be found at that website as well. Our next board meeting will be April 7th, and our next committee of the whole will be April 12th. And that's all I have today.
All right, thank you, clerk. Trustee Ledden.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I too would like to congratulate the DARE participants and graduates, and also the state championship in volleyball. I mean, that's an incredible feat. And also go off of Katie's announcement and remind everybody about early voting and the election coming up on April 1st. As Abraham Lincoln said, the elections belong to the people. It's their decision. If they decide to turn their back on the fire and get burned, they'll just have to learn to sit on their blisters. So hopefully we'll all exercise our right and not be treating our blisters. So that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Trustee Savaria.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. It's kind of hard to follow that. I wanted a big shout out to Pat Kenny. It's his birthday today, and happy St. Patty's Day to everyone. And I guess I'll reiterate too. Early voting started today. If you can't vote April 1st, get out there and vote. It doesn't matter who you vote for, but you should vote. So that's all I have.
All right, thank you. Trustee Rigoni.
Thank you, Mayor. First, I would like to congratulate all the DARE graduates and thank our fantastic police department. I had a graduate this year, my last one. It's always been a great adventure, particularly the clues that we have the opportunity to go around town and find, as well as and patronize those businesses. I'd like to welcome 2 new businesses to our village. As I say, that you have many communities to choose, and you chose Frankfort, so thank you. I'd also like to congratulate the Lee residents. This is a lot impervious variation. Actually, it was less than what you had on your property. And reading through the minutes, as well as then through the staff report, is a cooperation and work with staff. So I appreciate working with staff, adding things that check our box in our guidelines as well. So, and I congratulate you on your variation. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Trustee Petro.
Thank you. Hope everyone enjoyed their St. Patrick's Day and some of the celebrations this weekend. I'm certainly looking forward to some corned beef and cabbage after this. I too wanted to recognize the Hickory Creek volleyball team. Mayor, I think you spoke about their undefeated tournament season this year, but I believe they were undefeated last year too. So back-to-back state championships, I think it was like 48-0. I mean, that is a testament to some real grit from that team. So congratulations to the coaches and the ladies on that team. And yes, please, everyone. They said that, I'll give another quote, but every election is determined by the people who show up. So whether that's on April 1st election day, or you take advantage of early voting here at the Village Hall, or if you're looking for a Saturday, you can always early vote at the library as well. But get out and vote. Thank you.
Trustee Burley.
Thank you, Mayor. I have to be repetitive, but the 7th grade volleyball team for Hickory Creek, that is amazing. 48-0 over 2 years. Winning a state title is just amazing. To win it twice and go undefeated is just, it's astonishing, and I'm looking forward to bringing them in and honoring them again. Those are always my favorite meetings. I did early vote today. Came to Village Hall, zip in, zip out, 5 minutes. I probably would have been quicker, but I filled in the circles for the uncontested races, so that took a little bit extra time. But I think I was like number 52, and this was at lunchtime, so that was a pretty impressive, I think, just kickoff to early voting. So. Hopefully people do get out and vote and we have high numbers. Also just want to wish everyone a happy St. Patrick's Day, and looking forward to Bridget's corned beef and cabbage. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Trustee Rossi.
Thank you, Mayor. I just want to give out a quick shout out to the Park District. They did a great job on their plan, their PUD they were trying to do. They did contact all the neighbors in Founder's Place where they would be affected by the change. And they looked for input and looked for any information we had. Obviously, the entire community was in favor of it, so there was no problem, so they went forward. But I think it's great that they reached out to them like that. I have one other quick thing. I just want to remind our residents that the Village of Frankfort's administrative team, their department heads, their employees, work so very hard for this community to keep Frankfort the village that we all love to call our home. I will always appreciate the work, and I will always support them. Thank you.
Thank you, Jim. Is there any other business to come before the board? Okay, all right. This is the point of public comment. You can come before the board. This is not a back and forth. This is not a public hearing. You can make a comment before the board.
Is this thing on? There we go. Esteemed members of the Village Board and Mayor Ogle, My name is Daniel Rose. On February 28th, 2025, I filed the D4 complaint with the Illinois State Board of Elections against Mayor Keith Ogle and the committee to elect Keith Ogle for violations of Section 9-25.1 of the Illinois Campaign Disclosure Act, election interference. The basis of my complaint is Mayor Ogle's repeated use of the Village of Frankfort's official logo and campaign-related social media posts on Instagram, illegal under Illinois election law. I did not bring this complaint lightly. I did so as a longtime member of this community who keeps an office here, someone who grew up here, attended school here, and whose friends and family continue to live and work here, and as a civically engaged resident who believes our elections must remain fair, transparent, and free of improper influence by public officials. On March 5th, 2025, Mayor Ogle issued a 6-point response to my complaint to the Illinois State Board of Elections, and he subsequently publicized that response on his social media. Before I address the substance of Mayor Ogle's response, I feel compelled to correct a disgustingly false and misleading narrative that has been circulated. It's been brought to my attention that Mayor Ogle has told members of the press that I threatened him during a public meeting last December. Let me state unequivocally, this is completely false. While I did meet with the mayor December 20th, this was a private meeting, not a public one, attended by myself, my father, members of our team working on the Gardens of Frankfort project, including project manager Dave Henney and Mayor Ogle and Assistant Administrator Barika. At no point did I or anyone else issue any threats, verbal, implied, or otherwise. What did occur, and what all parties present can corroborate, is that during a calm and civil conversation, I referred to Mayor Ogle as a liar, a statement made while seated and in a measured tone, and one I stand by. In response, Mayor Ogle abruptly ended the meeting, pointed his fingers in my face, and refused to shake my hand as I calmly left. I raise this issue now to set the record straight and defend my character. In light of the mayor's public insinuations, Board, please address this issue with the mayor. I'm sure it's not easy hearing the chief executive of your village would play fast and loose with reality, with the intent to cause great reputational damage to a private citizen and my good name. With that matter addressed, I would now like to turn to a point-by-point clarification and rebuttal of Mayor Keith Ogle's public response to the Illinois State Board of Elections. The logo Mr. Ogle featured in his social media campaign posts, the same logo identified in the election interference complaint, is prominently used throughout official village operations and communications. This logo appears on official government documents, including the village's annual budgets, the comprehensive plan, marketing and promotional materials, official correspondence, and in the email signatures of village officials, such as Village Administrator Rob Pisha. Additionally, this logo appears on every page and in the banner of the village's official website, as well as on its LinkedIn and other social media accounts. The same logo is prominently displayed on the facade of the Frankfort Village Hall building. A simple search for Frankfort logo using the Village of Frankfort's website search tool directs users to this logo. The website's own source code classifies the image as Frankfort, Illinois logo, confirming its official status. Mr. Ogle describes the @MayorKeithOgle Instagram account as a, quote, personal account created by and belonging to Keith Ogle. While no one has suggested that this account is operated by anyone other than Mr. Ogle, his attempt to distinguish between a personal account and one operated in a political capacity is unconvincing, especially as the account name itself begins with mayor, clearly denoting his public office. Furthermore, although Mr. Ogle claims that the account is unconnected to any campaign committee, he is the chair of the committee to elect Keith Ogle. Thus, whether acting individually or as chair, any political activity on the account falls under his campaign's purview. His response simultaneously admits he is the account's sole operator while distancing the account from campaign-related activities, a distinction without a practical difference, especially when campaign messaging is posted. It's also worth noting that Mr. Ogle maintained a separate account @KeithOgle prior to his election as mayor. Unlike @MayorKeithOgle, this earlier account does not reference his mayor office, suggesting a clear delineation between personal and official political communications. Finally, the complaint filed with the Illinois State Board of Elections properly notified both Mr. Ogle and his campaign committee as required under Illinois election law. The assertion that this was a poorly planned inclusion misunderstands or misrepresents the legal obligation to notify all relevant parties involved in campaign activities. Mr. Ogle asserts that, quote, the posted images in question promote no political message or candidate. While the images themselves may not contain explicit political content, save for the inclusion of the village logo, the captions accompanying these images include phrases such as elect Keith Ogle and re-elect Keith Ogle, which are unambiguous campaign messages. Instagram posts consist of both an image and a caption. Together, they form a complete post. Removing one element removes the context and meaning. Mr. Ogle argues that, quote, hashtags are not an instruction by definition, but are a general topic categorization tool. While hashtags do categorize content, in the context of campaign posts, they also serve as direct calls to action in campaign branding. For instance, hashtags like hashtag elect Keith Ogle or hashtag re-elect Keith Ogle are widely understood to signal campaign messaging and direct appeal for votes. The act of classifying a post with campaign-specific hashtags inherently aligns that content with campaign messaging. This is a well-established use of hashtags by political campaigns, organizations, and public figures. Everybody knows that. Contrary to Mr. Ogle's claim that no evidence has been presented, quote, establishing any linkage between that posted image and any public funds of any government entity, there is clear evidence that public funds have supported the creation, maintenance, and use of the official Village of Frankfort logo. The village's website, which prominently features the logo in question, was redesigned at public expense. On December 16th, 2019, the Frankfort Village Board of Trustees approved resolution number 19-50, authorizing an agreement with Revise LLC for website redesign and ongoing services, totaling $24,700, with an additional $2,500 annually for maintenance. Notably, the motion to approve this is bad, Mike. The motion to approve this spending was made by then trustee Keith Ogle. How ironic. The minutes of that meeting can be found on the minutes of the regular Frankfort Village Board meeting, December 16th, 2019. Thus, taxpayer funds were used to maintain the logo's public association with the village, making its subsequent appearance in campaign materials illegal. In summation, the issues raised here are serious and fundamental to the integrity of our local democratic process. They pertain directly to the use of official government symbols in campaign context, the accurate representation of campaign activities, and compliance with state election law. The Village of Frankfort's own website and official public records clearly confirm both the official nature of the logo used by Mayor Ogle and the public funding associated with its design, maintenance, and display. Despite these facts, Mayor Ogle has attempted to distance himself and his campaign from clear and documented evidence, but his assertions are contradicted by the public record. Moreover, after this complaint was filed, Mayor Ogle quietly removed the Instagram posts in question, an acknowledgement of the validity of these concerns. Rather than addressing these issues in a transparent and accountable manner, Mayor Ogle has instead chosen to use his public platform to attack me personally, attempting to discredit and bully a private citizen for raising legitimate concerns about election integrity, leaving me no redress but for public comments here, which is sad. This is deeply troubling behavior from an elected official who is supposed to be entrusted to uphold the public's trust. If I were a public official accused of wrongdoing, I would welcome any investigation as an opportunity to demonstrate transparency and accountability, not resort to public smears against those raising concerns. Elected officials must be held to a higher standard, especially when the integrity of the electoral process is at stake. And with that, I'll conclude. And if anybody wants, I'll share all the documentation with them. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Rose. Anyone else like to make a public comment?
How you doing? You want me to put my name down here?
I
Or
think
pen?
we know who you are, just a minute
Okay.
ago. Yes.
Thank you. It's a good throw there, Mr. Trustee Rossi. This is not a Q&A, right? I can't ask questions, or can I just make a statement?
It's public comment.
Public comment. Okay. So, I had a few things. One being, public comment on, I think this mic may need to get fixed. The quotes that came, or the bids that came out, recently that you just read off, I'm just curious if those were bid from multiple parties, or if that was just a single bid? I'm wondering if the village has a policy on getting multiple bids on that type of thing, or if Robinson is, for example, on the road job, if they're the only bid. I would like to know the answer to that. Also, I'm curious how the consent agenda works. It seems that when it's unanimous, it goes without public comment, and I'm not sure how that works either, that if we disagree with it, it's already passed. How does that work? And then thirdly, I would like to know, and I've not gotten an answer yet, as to why my signs were in the back of Village Hall in a pile behind the generator. There was up to 20 signs with 6 candidates running for office, and only my signs were in a pile behind the generator behind the Village Hall. Now, I have a hard time believing that I'm the only one that's out of compliance when I drive around and I see everybody's signs out of compliance. Everybody's. Because you give signs, no?
No, mine aren't.
Yes, they are. I've seen them.
Okay, this is not a back and forth, please. Public comment, please keep your decorum.
I was not back and forth, he was.
Please keep your decorum, sir.
Okay. So I would like an answer as to why I was the only one to have my signs taken down. And I don't know if someone's going to get back to me, since I can't have a back and forth here, or who does that, or, you know, because I find it highly suspect that mine were the only signs that were down, and Mr. Trustee Savario is convinced that nobody's else were in the wrong spot, even though I drive around and see them everywhere, because that's all I do lately is go knock on doors and see all the signs. It's just very suspicious, and I have not gotten an answer. You know, if this was an honest, transparent village, they'd probably give me an answer, but so far I can't get one. So that's all I have.
All right, thank you. Are there any other public comments tonight before the board? Okay, hearing none, can I get a motion and a second to adjourn? So moved. Second. Motion and a second. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Meeting is adjourned. Thank you, everyone.